Deepwoken player stereotypes in 2026. Today I'll be going over the various stereotypes encompassing different kinds of players within the Deepwoken community. As usual, don't go crying in my video's comments if you got a bad stereotype. It's just a stereotype and it isn't made to be taken too seriously, so I have to put this disclaimer here because every time I make one of these videos, somebody's crying because they didn't like that their attunement is associated with fat losers. Along with that, I'll be live at twitch.tv/Reaconteur 20 minutes after this video goes up, so check me out over there. Once you finish watching this video, go watch me on Twitch. 20 minutes after this video goes out, I'll be live at Twitch. Oh, somebody told me to do that as fast as I could, so that was pretty fast, I think. Now let's get straight into it. This guy only plays Chime of Conflict. PvP only, Chime only. There is some overlap here between some of the other stereotypes, but the Chime Demon doesn't necessarily dictate them being a Metamancer or other. It just means that they never leave the Chime of Conflict. The funny part about people who only play Chime, though, is that even though you'd think they were good based on their clips or highlights, that they definitely post on their YouTube channel with 2,000 subscribers, most of which they got off a random short clip that may or may not be theirs, they usually aren't actually that good, being hard stuck sub or around 1200 elo, and often being terrible in actual ganks when there's more than one person they have to pay attention to, because Chime of Conflict players have one-track minds. This is the guy who literally only plays Deepwoken for the drip. He probably makes a new build every few weeks, but not for metamancing purposes, it's just for the outfit purposes. Usually these are the same types of people submitting to my drip streams and... wait a minute, drip streams? Oh, drip streams, yeah. There's a Google form link down in the description and comment section down below. On this video, I am once again taking drip submissions, and the next drip stream will be on Wednesday, May 13th at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so mark your calendars. And then after that, I will be doing bedrooms and PC setups again with a ROBLOX prize, which I always do for the bedroom and PC setup ones. So go submit to that and then submit once I call for the next submission thing. And then after that, we're gonna do cooking. So if you guys want, prepare your cooking videos now. Get your cooking videos done now, so that way when they're due in like a month and a half, you guys will have them ready. Because the third one that I'm going to do after the drip stream is going to be viewer submitted cooking. Anyway, as far as the drip goes, you guys have until May 12th to submit. Regardless of being off topic, the people who really only play Deepwoken because of the fashion really just love it because it has some of the best customization options in the entirety of Roblox. And there's so much that people do with this. Some of you guys like doing cosplays and character specific builds. Others just like looking cool and using builds that have fun attunements and weapons that complement whatever colors you're using. Most of you guys just spend hours going after stuff like dye packets, changing your belt cosmetics, smelting all your gear properly, and matching colors as best as possible. And honestly, it's quite admirable. The Metamancer is like the fashion enjoyer, in the fact that he switches builds almost every week, but for a much different reason than the fashion enjoyer. The Metamancer will typically make a new build every time something he's using gets nerfed, and he will do it for basically as long as it is beneficial to him because he plays the game. They usually also switch builds after every nerf no matter how small the nerf is, and complain too much about the developers nerfing everything that they use. Well, maybe if you stuck to a single build for once in your life, you wouldn't be getting nerfed every update, but instead, you would rather use the newest, strongest weapons on release for a week to farm Chime elo. And also, every Metamancer has a crazy ego, like they'd be any higher than 1,000 elo in Chime if they didn't abuse the fact that most people don't know how to counter new weapons and mantras, as well as the ones that have been in the game for years. Also, they usually only play Chime and have the bell for the fashion because they never fight in the overworld unless their build is specifically made for ganks. So yeah, there's overworld Metamancers, but a vast majority of them are found in the Chime of Conflict. You're just so abysmally bad at the game that you never even bothered trying to actually learn it. Deepwoken cheaters only exist because the people who cheat are probably absolutely terrible at it. And parents, I recommend you discipline your kids. If you find your kids cheating in a video game, beat the shit out of them. I'm sorry, I'm so stupid. Really though, exploiters in Deepwoken are hopelessly fucking terrible at the game. And parents, I get 2 F words per video, so this video is still PG-13. Anyway, exploiters are just the most pathetic excuses for players, because how are you this bad at Deepwoken? I want to see Deepwoken exploiters play Rogue Lineage legit, because they'd make no progress. Like, you can't even progress in Deepwoken. This game's low-key easy mode. Track stars are going to be the first overworld ganking player on this list, because track star builds don't work in the Chime of Conflict. The track star runs everything he can do to distance himself between him and anyone ever, usually Thunder or Gale players, sometimes both, most commonly Jet Strikers or Arc Warders, and they run as many range, flinging, or knockback mantras as they possibly can. The evolved version of a track star is anyone using a bird build, which while yes they were funny for a while, they are also super annoying, and even worse, for some reason track stars recently have been using lag switches to fly up to super high places in the depths, and every time one of them gets banned for cheating, they'll talk about how lag switching isn't cheating. You guys are only getting more and more insufferable as new movement options are found out within Deepwoken, and the fact that lag switching is now considered tech is pathetic, and I really hope it becomes actually bannable or strikeable. Have you ever wanted to have fun in Deepwoken? Well, if you're fighting this guy, you won't. He holds S, he spams M1 and R, he probably runs the rifle spear or some other rifle, and he occasionally does a mix-up by using a ranged mantra instead of his ranged crit. These are the lamest people you will ever fight, as they just spend the entire fight running and don't have a single melee range interaction with you, unless it's you running to them and hitting them before they vent you because they can't parry to save their mother's life. If you play like this, you're a pathetic human being. This is the lamest guy you'll ever meet. They probably put a little :3 cat face at the end of every message, they play a support or mage build, and they love to interject their annoying interests in everything possible. No offense to you Project Moon fans, but this is a lot of you. Is that the red mist in the comment section of every video? You are the people I'm talking about. These are also the same people who probably hear the word deep and turn around to say, like Deepwoken? And it's just annoying. Tip for anyone in this category, find some more interesting hobbies and stop talking about Deepwoken in places where nobody cares. That includes my fucking Twitch chat, by the way. That's my second F word. We're still at the PG-13 limits. But if I'm not playing Deepwoken, I don't want to talk about it. Also, these guys really love to run in circles during fights and ganks and hide behind teammates while snaking mantras if they do play ganks, and they always think that they're really useful for some reason. And for some reason, they also like talking a lot of shit in ganks, but they're not really that useful or good. The average mage player says nothing for an entire fight, runs in circles for 3 minutes straight, spams mantras and nice hero blade crits, before saying only GG if they won, and nothing if they lost. This is the lowest form of PvP in the entire game, and if you play like this, you're actually probably worse than the guy who holds down his S key. You're also annoying and I hate you. The soft cheater is the guy who tries to get an advantage in literally any way he can. He puts on big hats to hide his animations, but then that became bannable, so now he runs Vanta Blackgear to make it slightly harder to see his animations. He probably uses lag switches for movement while talking in my comments about how it's technically not cheating. Real story, by the way. But these guys are just scum. Any advantage possible will be taken, and they take Chime of Conflict way too seriously, and they're willing to win by any means necessary. They will abuse all the bugs that they can. These are also the same types of people who try to restore cheese and then get banned for it, and they cry in the ban appeals about how they didn't mean to, when, yeah, you did. PvE players are usually pretty chill. A PvE player can fall into any of the previous categories related to personality rather than playstyle, but most people who play exclusively PvE just want to be left alone or run group things in their friend groups while just chilling on Deepwoken and farming bosses or Heart of Enmity and stuff like that. Lots of active PvE players are also big into trading, because what else are they going to do with all their gear? Have like 19 Bloodforged crowns in their bank. Depth skankers are a very weird group of people. They think they're better than Chime players because they play in the overworld, but they almost exclusively roam in groups and outnumber people. They often jump PvE players for loot, and they all have huge egos despite the fact that individually none of them are really that good at the game. But unless you manage to find them in equal or lesser numbers to you, which by the way you won't, like that just won't happen, they always have more numbers for some reason. Because for some reason all of their friends also have alts that sit in the depths literally just to depth skank whenever they need backup. But regardless, you'd never be able to make that realization on your own through fighting them, because you're always going to be outnumbered. Because who needs skill when you can 3v1 PvE builds on PvP builds specialized for jumping? Support players usually aren't very good at the game, but they at least want to make themselves useful, so they start running a support build. Now the problem with support players is that for some reason, there's two types of support players, and it's kinda gender divided. There is the male support player, which the only two that I know are femboys. And then there's the female support player, which for some reason, every time there's a female support player, they're boosted by like their guild, which has like a 10-to-1 female ratio, and every time she joins that Discord Discord voice call, every other guy in that call floods that call, and they're all trying to talk over each other at the same time, and then for some reason they're always trying to give her stuff. It's just really pathetic from everyone who's not the support player's side. But yeah, usually support players are at least decently chill, but every once in a while a support player will be like really toxic and just talk shit at the end of every gank like they did anything other than, you know, leech heal their teammates. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As usual, if I forget any stereotypes, leave them down in the comment section below. I read every comment. You guys should know this by now. Something, something, something. I read every comment. You know how it is. And check me out over at twitch.tv/Reaconteur. New song cover this week or weekend, probably coming out like around Sunday. And shoutouts to you to members of Tier 2 or higher: Green, Philip, Delusional Mo, Fun Guns, Broccoli, Akiosugi Kuni, IXKMB, Unigeo, and Drizzy Drake Fan. I love you all. Have an amazing day as usual, and goodbye.